Listen up, fellow Stoics of the digital age. You've stumbled upon a golden treasure. And no, I'm not talking about the latest viral video or meme. If you've ever found yourself scrolling through social media, sighing at the pressures of today's world, wondering why you can't just let things go, or simply wanting to care a tad bit less about every little thing, then you, my friend, are in the right place. You see, long before our modern-day challenges, some brilliant chaps known as the Stoics lived their lives based on principles that, believe it or not, can teach us how to master the art of not giving too many cares. Ironic, isn't it, that ancient wisdom can guide our smartphone-filled, caffeine-driven lives? Over the next bit of your time, you're going to discover 10 simple yet profoundly transformative Stoic principles. Principles so refreshing they might just be the antidote to the chaos that is 21st century life. And hey, if you want to be the first to uncover more pearls of wisdom like these, go on and smack that notification bell and subscribe. What's the worst that could happen? You gain some wisdom. I challenge you, dare you even, to take that step. Welcome to the enlightening world of Stoicism, where old meets new, and where we get schooled in the art of keeping calm and carrying on. Now shall we dive in? 1. Control what's within, release what's without. Picture this, it's a rainy Tuesday morning. You've just prepared the perfect cup of tea, and right as you're about to sip, your cat knocks it over. The old you might have fumed, blamed Whiskers, or even the universe for conspiring against you. But here's a Stoic thought to chew on. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, said the legendary Seneca. Truth is, things happen, tea spills. Cats are mischievous. What's within our control? Our reactions. Instead of letting our imagination paint a gloomy day ahead, we can choose to laugh it off and brew another cup. The world will keep throwing curveballs, but the power of our reactions, that's all ours. So, the next time your Wi-Fi is acting up during that crucial Zoom call, or your pizza arrives cold, take a deep breath. It's not the cold pizza that disturbs us, but our interpretation of it. 2. Embrace the present moment. Marcus Aurelius once mused, "Do not let the future disturb you, for you will arrive there." If you nurture your present, it's the 21st century. We have notifications binging every second, and our thoughts race faster than our internet speed. Yet, what do we often miss? The now. Remember those days you walked in the park, but your mind was lost in tomorrow's tasks, or those family dinners where your thoughts drifted to past regrets? The Stoics teach us that today, this very moment is a gift. So why squander it worrying about the past or future? Being present isn't just about paying attention. It's about truly experiencing life, savoring your meals, listening to your friends, and feeling the wind on your face. Let go of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties. In the grand tapestry of life, it's the little moments stitched together that define our happiness. 3. Accept change as nature's course. Ever noticed how effortlessly seasons change? Winter's frost melts to give spring its bloom. Yet when faced with life's alterations, be it a job switch, a breakup, or a move, we resist. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life is ever-changing, as fluid as the River Thames. Fighting against the current is exhausting. Embracing it, that's where freedom lies. Life's nature is evolution. Just as Rome wasn't built in a day, You too are a masterpiece in progress. Every change, every twist and turn adds a unique brushstroke to your canvas. So, the next time you're faced with an unexpected detour, remember it's all part of the grand design. 4. Detach from external validation. In today's world, with every like, share, and comment, we've become hooked on external validation. But consider this wisdom from Epictetus. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Isn't it strange that we let tiny icons on a screen dictate our mood? Stoicism urges us to find validation from within. Self-worth shouldn't be measured by online clout, but by personal values, actions, and character. The next time your post doesn't get the expected traction, or someone slides into your DMs with a snide comment, remember your worth is not up for public voting. You're your own judge and jury. 5. Recognize life's natural cycles. Loss is painful, whether it's a favorite hoodie, a cherished memory, or a loved one. But as Marcus Aurelius stated, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. In the vast ecosystem of existence, everything has its season. Trees shed leaves only to sprout new ones. Similarly, life presents endings and beginnings, each teaching us, shaping us, rather than clinging to what was. Stoicism invites us to appreciate life's impermanence. It's a call to live fully, love deeply, and let go gracefully. Every sunset, after all, makes way for a sunrise. 6. Seek growth in adversity. Who hasn't faced a challenge? Maybe it's that dreadful boss, the endless pile of bills, or the metro that's always late. It's easy to complain, to wish life was a bit kinder. But Seneca once proclaimed, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Think of challenges as life's personal gym sessions for your soul. When hurdles appear, instead of asking, why me? Ponder, what's this teaching me? Every adversity carries a lesson, a potential for growth. It's just a matter of perspective. If Stoics were around today, they'd probably say, bring it on. 7. Cultivate inner riches. In an age of opulent Instagram feeds and the constant show of affluence, it's easy to equate happiness with material gains. Yet Seneca remarked, it's not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. True wealth isn't about the latest gadgets or designer labels. It's the contentment of the soul, the richness of experiences, the treasure of memories. The Stoics remind us that while it's okay to enjoy life's luxuries, one shouldn't be enslaved by them. For in the end, it's the stories we've woven, not the possessions we've accumulated, that truly matter. 8. Understand and accept fate. Now, I'm not saying you should blindly accept everything, but as Epictetus pointed out, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen. Life, with its myriad complexities, is a blend of our efforts and the universe's designs. Sometimes, despite our best moves, the outcome isn't in our favor. But instead of being bogged down by what didn't go as planned, Stoicism nudges us to embrace what's on our plate. After all, the most captivating stories often emerge from the most unexpected turns. 9. Be of service to others. We live in a world bursting with opportunities to make a difference. As Seneca reminds us, We are all bound together in a partnership. Stoicism isn't just about personal enlightenment, it's about community upliftment. By aiding another, we not only enrich their lives, but add meaning to our own. Whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering, or simply being there for a friend, every act of kindness echoes in the universe. Remember, it's not just about thriving solo, but elevating others along the journey. 10. Reflect, review, and realign. The bustling world doesn't often grant us pauses. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius noted, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Regular reflection is the mirror to our souls. Taking a moment to introspect helps us identify our patterns, realign our paths, and refresh our perspectives. Consider it a regular system update for your life. Ponder upon your actions. Learn from missteps and celebrate small wins. For in understanding oneself, we pave the path to true contentment and peace. These 10 principles aren't about being emotionless or aloof. They're about fostering resilience, embracing the present, and leading a life of purpose and depth. Well, my delightful virtual companions, as we draw the curtain on this enlightening journey through the hallowed halls of Stoicism, I can't help but reflect on how these age-old principles seem to fit so snugly into our frantic modern existence. Just goes to show, some truths are truly timeless. Now, I've got a cheeky little challenge for you all. In the comments below, I'd love for you to share which of these Stoic gems resonated with you the most. Did Seneca's wisdom strike a chord? Or was it Marcus Aurelius who felt like your newfound confidant? Let's get this conversation started so we learn from each other. But wait, before you dive headfirst into the world armed with this newfound Stoic wisdom, I've got a small request. If you found even an ounce of value today, a smidgen of enlightenment, or simply enjoyed our time together, do consider subscribing, giving this video a big thumbs up, and ringing that notification bell, not for the sake of vanity metrics. Oh no, but so we can continue this dance of wisdom sharing and growth. Life's a journey sprinkled with challenges and surprises, but with the right mindset and a dash of Stoic spice, it can be quite the delightful adventure. Here is to mastering the art of letting go and living with intention and gusto. Until our next digital rendezvous, keep the fire of curiosity burning and the spirit of Stoicism alive. Isn't it strange how the busiest days often leave us feeling the emptiest? You hustle from morning to night, ticking off tasks, yet crawl into bed feeling like you've moved mountains, but haven't moved forward. It's a paradox, isn't it, that in our quest to control every aspect of our lives, from schedules to interactions, we often end up feeling the least in control. If you've ever ended your day wondering, what was all that for? You're not alone. Today, we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, which offers a surprisingly modern solution to reclaiming not just your time, but your peace of mind. We'll explore how less control might actually mean more happiness, and why letting go is often the key to holding on to what truly matters. So, if you find something valuable as we unpack these insights, a simple free favor you can do is hit that subscribe button. And trust me, you won't want to skip any part of this journey, because every minute is designed to transform how you see and respond to life's chaos. Let's get started. Navigating the storms of life begins not outside, but inside your own mind. It's that place where thoughts swirl around like leaves in a gust of wind, each one tugging at our emotions and dictating how we feel. react, and view the world. But here's a Stoic secret. You can calm that mental storm. It's not about silencing your thoughts. It's about managing them more effectively. This is what the great Stoic philosophers, like Epictetus, emphasized. Control over one's mind is the ultimate freedom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control external events, we have absolute power over our internal responses. The idea is simple yet profound. Life isn't about what happens to you, but about how you respond. Imagine each thought as a visitor knocking on the door of your mind. Some visitors bring good news, and others bring challenges. By practicing Stoicism, you learn to greet each one calmly, not letting the negative ones unsettle you or stay too long. Let's break it down into something you can use daily. When a stressful thought arises, instead of letting it take over, pause and acknowledge its presence. This pause is your power moment. It's where you switch from reacting to choosing. Ask yourself, is this thought useful? Is it true? Often we find that our most troubling thoughts are based in worry, not reality. By questioning them, we take away their power. Then practice redirection. This is a Stoic exercise in focusing your mind on what you can control. You can't control what others say about you, the traffic or the weather, but you can control your response. Redirect your energy from frustration to actions that improve your state of mind, like deep breathing, a walk, or a moment of reflection. Remember, controlling your mind doesn't mean avoiding emotions. It means understanding them better. Emotions are not commands. They are information. By tuning into this information without letting it dictate your actions, you engage with life more fully and calmly. You become like the Stoic sage, unswayed by the highs and lows, navigating life with wisdom and serenity. Life, with all its unpredictability, often seems like a puzzle where the pieces don't always fit the way we expect them to. This is where Stoicism steps in, offering a mindset that can dramatically shift how we perceive and interact with the world. Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that the key to happiness lies not in attempting to control the external, but in embracing it exactly as it is. It's a practice of aligning our expectations with reality, rather than trying to bend reality to fit our expectations. The core of this philosophy is a kind of radical acceptance. Imagine watching a play unfold on stage. You don't get to rewrite the script or direct the actors. Life is similar. Many aspects are simply beyond our control. The weather, the stock market, other people's actions. These are all parts of the play we can't direct. The Stoic learns to watch these elements with a calm detachment, not apathy, but a profound understanding of where their own power truly lies. Embracing reality as it comes doesn't mean resignation or passivity. On the contrary, it invites us to focus intensely on the areas where we can make a difference. This means shifting our energy from frustration about what we can't change to innovation and action on what we can change. For example, while we can't control someone's rude behavior, we can control our response, whether that means calmly addressing the behavior or choosing to walk away. This acceptance also teaches us resilience. By acknowledging that things might not always go our way, we prepare ourselves emotionally for the ups and downs of life. It's like setting sail on the ocean. A Stoic sailor doesn't waste time wishing the sea were calmer. Instead, they learn to navigate the storms. This resilience builds over time, each challenge offering a chance to strengthen our ability to cope with adversity. Practicing this acceptance daily transforms our lives. It begins with small steps, recognizing when we're resisting reality and consciously choosing to accept it. Each moment of acceptance adds up, gradually shaping a more peaceful inner world. As we cultivate this mindset, we find that fewer things disturb us, and what once seemed like insurmountable obstacles become manageable challenges. So, as you move through your day, try to see each unexpected event not as a disruption, but as an opportunity to practice Stoic acceptance. Remember, it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. By changing our interpretations, we can find peace in any situation. One of the only constants in life is, ironically, uncertainty. We often think we're building our lives on solid ground, but the truth is, the sands can shift beneath us at any moment. This is where Stoicism provides an invaluable perspective. The Stoics understood that the nature of the world is change, and by embracing this uncertainty, we can find a deeper sense of peace and resilience. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from worrying about what might happen tomorrow, next week, or next year? We plan, project, and predict, trying to pin down the future as if it's a map we can follow to avoid all the traffic jams and roadblocks. But life isn't a highway. It's more like a meandering path through a dense forest, where the next turn may reveal a vista or a new obstacle. Stoicism teaches us to embrace this unpredictability with open arms, not with resignation, but with courage and adaptability. To truly embrace uncertainty, we start by acknowledging our limited control over external events. You can't control the economy, the weather, or the actions of others, but you can control your response to these events. This is not about giving up on goals or stopping efforts to improve your situation. It's about holding these goals lightly and being prepared to adjust as circumstances change. It's like being a skillful sailor who can adjust the sails to the changing wind and currents, rather than fighting against them. Practicing this can be liberating. When you stop demanding certainty from life, you open yourself up to more possibilities. You become more flexible, more creative, and often more effective. You're no longer paralyzed by the need for a perfect outcome. Instead, you're motivated by the process of adapting and learning, whatever the outcome may be. This doesn't mean you won't have plans, but rather that you're prepared to change them, to improvise, and to make the best of the situation. And here's the beautiful part. When you start viewing uncertainty as a space for growth rather than a threat, life becomes more engaging. Every unexpected event brings with it the seed of new opportunities, new ways to challenge yourself and grow. It's about transforming the unknown from a source of anxiety to a source of potential. This is a core principle of Stoicism, seeing every obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, perseverance, and resilience. Navigating the waves of praise and criticism can feel like steering a ship through stormy seas. One minute, you're riding high on a wave of compliments, and the next, you're being tossed around by harsh words. It's exhausting, isn't it? That's why Stoicism teaches us a powerful concept, the art of indifference, not to feelings or outcomes, but specifically to the opinions of others. This isn't about apathy, it's about finding a space where your self-worth isn't tied to what others think. Let's dive a bit deeper into this. Stoicism doesn't suggest that we should become emotionless robots, ignoring all feedback. Instead, it advocates for a balanced approach, where we listen to and consider feedback without allowing it to destabilize our core sense of self. Epictetus put it this way: if someone praises me, it speaks to their opinion, not my merit. When you internalize this perspective, praise becomes a pleasant echo rather than a validation of your worth, and criticism merely a differing viewpoint, not a demolition of your character. The challenge, of course, is in the practice. It begins by understanding that your actions should align with your values, not with an anticipated reaction from others. This alignment creates a strong internal compass that guides you, irrespective of external approval. When you act based on personal conviction rather than the desire for approval, your dependence on external validation naturally diminishes. Another practical step is to reflect on the impermanence of both praise and criticism. Just as quickly as a compliment can lift your spirits, it can be forgotten. Similarly, criticism can sting, but its pain is often temporary. By reflecting on this transience, you build an emotional resilience that shields you from the volatility of others' opinions. Moreover, practicing Stoic indifference involves a conscious effort to recognize the limits of praise and criticism. Not all praise is beneficial. It can sometimes lead to complacency. Not all criticism is detrimental. It can offer valuable insights and opportunities for growth. By filtering these through your own reasoning, you determine what is constructive and what is noise. In embracing this Stoic practice, you don't just protect your peace, you also cultivate a genuine confidence that is rooted in self-awareness, not in external affirmation. This form of confidence is robust. It is not easily shaken because it is built on the foundation of knowing yourself and your values deeply. It's a curious part of human nature, this drive to be right all the time. It often feels like every conversation or debate is a battle that must be won. But Stoicism invites us to consider a different approach, an approach where the victory isn't about proving others wrong, but about achieving personal peace and growth. Letting go of the need to always be right doesn't mean compromising on truth. It means reevaluating what truly adds value to our lives and what simply feeds our ego. Imagine how much energy we expend in arguments, defending our positions like fortresses under siege. Stoicism teaches us to lower the drawbridge and venture out, not with the aim of conquering others with our rightness, but with the goal of understanding and learning. Epictetus advises us to lead with listening rather than speaking. He suggests that by doing so, we open ourselves up to new perspectives and deepen our understanding, not just of the topic at hand, but of the human condition. This doesn't imply that we should never stand up for what we believe in. Instead, it's about choosing our battles wisely. Ask yourself, is this disagreement important to my values? Or am I just trying to bolster my pride? Sometimes the wisest and most courageous act is not to launch another verbal volley, but to acknowledge the limits of what we know and can prove. It's about embracing the possibility that we might be wrong, and that's perfectly okay. By releasing the grip on always having to be right, we also lower our stress levels and improve our relationships. It transforms interactions from confrontations into opportunities for connection and learning. This shift in mindset can lead to more productive and harmonious relationships, both in personal life and at work. Think about the last time someone acknowledged they were wrong in a discussion with you. It likely increased your respect for them, didn't it? Furthermore, Stoicism doesn't just ask us to let go of being right for the sake of peace. It teaches us that in the acceptance of uncertainty and the unknown, there is wisdom. It's a practice in humility, recognizing that the universe is vast and complex, and our understanding is always partial and evolving. This mindset fosters a lifelong openness to learning and growth, which is far more rewarding than the fleeting satisfaction of being right. It's fascinating how our expectations can set the stage for our life's drama, shaping our joys, disappointments, and everything in between. We often script out our days, our careers, even our relationships with such precision, hoping everything will follow our meticulously drawn maps. However, life has a way of ignoring our scripts, doesn't it? Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this by teaching us to temper our expectations, not to diminish our dreams, but to ground them in reality. This doesn't mean expecting the worst, but rather preparing ourselves to accept whatever outcome life presents, thereby finding contentment in any situation. Seneca once said, "We suffer more from imagination than from reality." He was pointing out that many of our disappointments stem not from life's harshness, but from the gap between what we expect and what actually happens. By adjusting our expectations, we can close this gap. Imagine going into a situation with an open mind, free from specific demands on the outcome. You're prepared to give your best, but are equally prepared to accept whatever results from your efforts. This mindset reduces anxiety and fear of failure because you're no longer tethered to the idea of a single right outcome. Expecting less doesn't strip life of its magic, quite the opposite. It opens us to more joy and surprise. When we don't box in our experiences with rigid expectations, we allow room for life to delight and surprise us in ways we couldn't have specifically planned. This is a more adventurous, more resilient way of living. It's about being like a river that flows around obstacles, rather than a canal that dries up when something blocks its path. Moreover, this Stoic practice of moderating expectations helps us focus more on the process rather than just the outcome. This shift in focus is liberating. It allows us to fully engage with the present, putting in our efforts and letting go of the anxiety over results. We learn to appreciate the doing itself, whether it's working on a project, engaging in a hobby, or spending time with loved ones, without the heavy burden of needing things to turn out a certain way. And when things don't go as hoped, which inevitably they sometimes won't, our equilibrium isn't shattered because we didn't expect perfection. We're not disillusioned by reality. This doesn't mean we don't feel disappointment, but rather that it doesn't linger or turn into lasting distress. We acknowledge it, learn from it, and move on stronger and wiser. In a world that constantly pushes us towards more activities, more responsibilities, more connections, it's revolutionary to discover the power of a simple no. It's a tiny word, but it packs a profound punch. Stoicism, with its emphasis on self-mastery and inner tranquility, encourages us to use this powerful tool wisely. Saying no isn't just about turning down an invitation or a request. It's about affirming your priorities, respecting your resources, and preserving your energy for what truly matters. The Stoics teach us the importance of understanding our limits and the value of our time. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to focus on the essential and disregard the unnecessary. By saying no, we honor this Stoic principle. We make a conscious choice about how we spend each precious moment of our lives. Each no is a yes to something else that is more aligned with our values and goals. Imagine this scenario. Your day is packed, yet another request comes your way. It's tempting to say yes to avoid disappointing someone or to keep up appearances. But at what cost? Overcommitting can lead us to burnout and stress, far from the Stoic ideal of peace and balance. Instead, by thoughtfully considering whether a commitment aligns with your principles and priorities, and being brave enough to decline when it doesn't, you take back control of your life. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or inflexible. On the contrary, it's about being intentionally selective. It means being honest with yourself and others about what you can handle and what will add meaning and value to your life. This selectiveness enhances the quality of your engagements, relationships, and work. You'll find that the activities and responsibilities you do say yes to receive more of your focus and energy, leading to better outcomes and more satisfaction. Furthermore, saying no can be an exercise in integrity and authenticity. It's about being true to yourself, not just going along with what others want or expect. This might be challenging at first, especially if you're used to pleasing others. However, the Stoics were no strangers to challenge. They saw it as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Each time you say no, you strengthen your ability to uphold your boundaries and respect your own needs. Growth often requires stepping out of our comfort zones, which isn't always easy or comfortable. Stoicism, a philosophy built on resilience and the power of the human spirit, encourages us to lean into discomfort, viewing it not as an enemy but as a teacher. Think about the last time you faced something challenging. It might have felt daunting at the moment, but reflecting back, you can probably see how that experience helped you grow, sharpened your skills, or deepened your resilience. The Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, believe that life's difficulties are opportunities to practice virtues such as courage, patience, and endurance. When we embrace discomfort, we're essentially training ourselves to be stronger and more capable. It's similar to how a muscle becomes stronger through the stress of exercise. By intentionally engaging with challenges rather than avoiding them, we not only enhance our ability to cope with adversity, but also increase our capacity to enjoy and appreciate all aspects of life. Moreover, embracing discomfort allows us to break free from the shackles of fear and hesitation. It's easy to become complacent, to choose the path of least resistance, but doing so can lead to stagnation. Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment often lies on the other side of hardship. By facing difficulties head-on, we learn not only about our limitations, but also about our potential. Every challenge overcome is a lesson in what we are truly capable of achieving. Additionally, when we expose ourselves to different and difficult situations, we foster adaptability and flexibility, qualities essential for personal growth and success in all areas of life. Whether it's learning a new skill, changing careers, or adapting to unforeseen circumstances, our ability to thrive in change is enhanced by our willingness to endure discomfort. Embracing discomfort also cultivates humility, another key Stoic virtue. It reminds us that we are not perfect, that there is always room for improvement. This mindset keeps us grounded and focused on personal development rather than resting on our laurels. It encourages a lifelong journey of learning and self-discovery, where each new challenge is a chance to learn more about ourselves and the world around us. It might feel unsettling to turn our thoughts towards the end of life, the fact that our time here is finite. Yet in the wisdom of Stoicism, contemplating our mortality isn't a morbid obsession, but a powerful tool to enhance our appreciation of life. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of living as if each day were your last, not in fear but with a profound understanding that our days are numbered. This practice, known as memento mori, or remember you must die, serves as a reminder of life's impermanence, urging us to live more fully in the present. When you consider that each moment could be your last, trivial annoyances and grievances lose their grip. You find yourself focusing more on what truly matters, perhaps deepening relationships, pursuing meaningful work, or making time for passions that stir your soul. Reflecting on death also helps us prioritize our choices. It sharpens our sense of what is truly important and what is merely distraction. This doesn't mean living in a constant state of urgency, but fostering a steady awareness that our time is limited. So we must choose wisely how we use it. Each day becomes precious, each interaction significant, and we begin to shed the procrastination and pettiness that cloud our days. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us that accepting the inevitability of death can diminish our fears. When we stop seeing death as a taboo or something to be feared, it loses much of its power over us. Instead, we can see it as a natural, inevitable part of life that underscores the importance of living well. This acceptance can bring a calm and clarity that enhances our resilience, helping us face life's challenges with a balanced perspective. And in this reflection, there's a call to action, not to morbidly fixate on the end, but to use this awareness as a catalyst for living a more deliberate, thoughtful life. Ask yourself, if this were my last year, what would I want to accomplish? Who would I want to be? This isn't about creating a frenzied bucket list, but about refining our daily actions and attitudes to align more closely with our true selves. Thank you for joining us today on this profound journey with Stoic Journal. Remember, embracing these lessons isn't just about learning, it's about transforming the way we live every single day. If today's discussion resonated with you, I invite you to watch one of our suggested videos on the screen next to continue exploring and deepening your understanding of Stoicism. Together, let's strive to live not just longer, but fuller and wiser. Have you ever experienced the uncomfortable feeling of being treated just as a stepping stone or a ladder by someone? Fake relationships can be challenging to identify, especially when we want to believe in the goodness of others. However, there are hidden signs and revealing words left by those who see us merely as means to achieve their own ends. In this video, we will explore the depths of these toxic actions, highlighting 7 critical attitudes that scream that this person is not concerned about you and is just using you. It's time to unmask the false friends in your life. Stay with us and find out how. And don't forget, if you want to cultivate a healthy environment and protect your energy, subscribe to our channel and learn how to identify and distance yourself from these toxic influences. Navigating the often turbulent waters of human nature is an art that requires intuition and experience. In our journey, we encounter a variety of personalities. Some enrich our lives, while others only harm us. Identifying someone who is just using us can be painful and often not as obvious as we would like. However, recognizing these attitudes is the first step towards reaffirming our worth and establishing healthy boundaries. In our journey to discern true intentions and relationships, an essential understanding stands out. You deserve relationships that are reciprocal and respectful. If you identified with this content and found value in the information shared, I invite you to subscribe for more insights like this. Together, we will continue to navigate the complexities of human interactions, unraveling and better understanding the patterns of behavior and emotions that surround us. Your support is crucial in this journey of discovery and continuous learning. Remember, the key to healthier and more enriching relationships lies in recognizing, acting, and above all, respecting yourself and others. The second signal, selective availability, exploited in the complex nuances of human relationships. A second warning sign stands out: selective availability. This situation becomes evident when someone is readily accessible when they need something from us, but strangely unreachable when the roles are reversed. Picture this scenario. You often find yourself in the role of a benefactor, responding to various requests, whether it be providing a shoulder to lean on for emotional support, doing favors, or dedicating your time and attention. However, when you find yourself in a vulnerable position, seeking support or assistance, the response from this person is a deafening silence, messages ignored, calls unanswered, or at best, a subtle change of subject. These are the responses you get. This pattern of behavior creates a scenario where the balance of giving and receiving is skewed. You find yourself on a one-way street, where your efforts and care seem to flow in a direction with no return. This dynamic not only reveals a lack of consideration, but also a deliberate disregard for your needs and feelings. Selective availability is, therefore, a mirror reflecting an uncomfortable reality. The person in question is present only when it suits them. This one-sided dynamic is a breeding ground for feelings of disappointment and resentment. The relationship becomes an imbalanced scale, where the needs of one party are continually overlooked. Recognizing and confronting this reality is a vital step. It's important to ask, are we truly in a mutually enriching relationship? Or are we just a convenient source to satisfy someone else's needs? Self-respect and self-esteem come into play here, challenging us to reassess our boundaries and to consider whether reciprocity and respect are indeed shared values in this relationship. The third signal, the lack of detailed personal interest in the fabric of interpersonal relationships. A third warning sign is distinctly prominent: the lack of personal interest. True friends and sincere companions are characterized by an authentic interest in our lives, our emotions, and our experiences. They revel in our stories, share in our joys, and support us in our challenges. However, a stark contrast emerges when dealing with someone whose interest appears to be merely functional or opportunistic. This person rarely, if ever, asks about your day, your feelings, or your aspirations. Their involvement in conversations seems to have a singular focus: themselves. The discussions, when they occur, revolve around their own experiences and needs, or are limited to superficial topics, devoid of any emotional or personal depth. This dynamic reveals a disturbing disconnection. You begin to feel that your voice and your story only hold value when they somehow serve these unilateral interests. Your role in the relationship is reduced to an audience for their narratives or a resource for their conveniences. This absence of curiosity and empathy is a telltale sign that your value to this person is conditional on what you can offer, not on who you are. This realization can be painful, but it is crucial for self-assessment and the preservation of one's own dignity. Questioning becomes essential. Are we in a relationship of equitable and genuine exchange? Or are we seen as mere supporting characters in someone else's life spectacle? The lack of personal interest in a relationship is a red flag signaling the need to reevaluate our connections and seek environments where we are valued and respected in our entirety. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few who are truly seeking growth. Comment seeking wisdom along with today's date to make a commitment to yourself. Let's continue. The fourth signal, guilt and manipulation. Dissected within the spectrum of human interactions, a fourth signal emerges as a grim warning, the use of guilt as a tool for manipulation. This form of manipulation can manifest in multiple ways, but its core is always the same: to persuade, or rather coerce, someone into acting in accordance with the manipulator's wishes. Consider this scenario. You frequently find yourself in situations where there is a subtle yet intense pressure to say yes to requests or demands. Or perhaps the other person skillfully plays with your emotions, using them like puppets to achieve their goals. Phrases like, "If you were really my friend, you would do this, or I would do the same," for you are thrown into the emotional battleground as sharp weapons aimed at exploiting your kindness and empathy. These manipulation tactics are insidious and often disguised under the guise of normality or obligation. They are designed to make you doubt your own perceptions and feelings, leading you to question whether it's your responsibility to give in. This is dangerous territory, where your emotional integrity and self-esteem can be gradually eroded. On the other hand, it is essential to recognize that healthy relationships flourish in the fertile ground of trust, mutual respect, and the freedom to express and attend to individual needs without fear or pressure. If you find yourself frequently entangled in the clutches of these manipulative strategies, an urgent need for reassessment arises. It's a moment to question the sustainability of the relationship and the possibility of establishing healthier boundaries. Confronting and acknowledging manipulation is a brave step towards preserving your emotional health and well-being. It's an act of self-assertion where you claim your right not to be manipulated or guilt-tripped into choosing what is best for you. The fifth signal, the persistent lack of respect. In the mosaic of interpersonal relations, a fifth signal of dysfunction emerges clearly: persistent lack of respect. Respect, an essential two-way street in any meaningful relationship, must be a constant. A true friend or a loyal companion honors this principle with actions that reflect mutual consideration and esteem. However, a person who habitually exploits you tends to disregard these boundaries. Imagine yourself frequently facing situations where your plans are cancelled at the last minute, or the other person is late, or worse, doesn't show up at all. It seems there's always an expectation that you should mold yourself to their conveniences and whims. This pattern of neglecting your needs and time is a glaring indicator that the relationship is undervalued by this person. These attitudes, when viewed collectively, weave a pattern of behavior that screams selfishness and lack of consideration. However, it's vital to recognize that fallibility is a human trait. We all at some point may act selfishly. What differentiates a person who is using you is the persistence of these actions over time, combined with a lack of acknowledgement or effort to change. As we progress on this journey of unraveling the subtleties of human relations, it's essential to remember that self-awareness and assertiveness are powerful tools. They protect us from being exploited. Being aware of these signs and understanding how to respond to them is vital. Recognizing the presence of a harmful relationship is a crucial step in reconsidering these ties and taking steps to safeguard your emotional and mental well-being. As we continue to explore the complexities of human relationships, realizing that we are equipped to identify and react to exploitative situations is an important step. Knowledge and understanding of these signs enable us to maintain healthier and more respectful relationships. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity to purchase the ebook now. Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. The sixth signal, superficial bonding and its implications. In the complex tapestry of human relationships, a sixth telling sign emerges. Superficial bonding. This sign is particularly insidious because it masks the true nature of the relationship. A person who is using you tends to avoid forming a deep and meaningful connection. This behavior is manifested through an interaction that rarely goes beyond the surface. In this type of relationship, you might start to notice a pattern. Conversations usually revolve around trivial topics, shying away from diving into deeper or more personal subjects. These people keep their vulnerabilities well guarded and their emotions tightly controlled. This invisible barrier prevents the relationship from developing into a more intimate level of trust and camaraderie. The relationship seems to be stuck in a perpetual initial state, where even after a considerable amount of time, you realize that you don't truly know this person beyond a superficial facade. This is a clear sign that, for the other party, the relationship is not a priority nor a pathway to a genuine sharing of experiences and emotions. Recognizing this superficial dynamic is essential for your emotional health. It's an invitation to reflect on the value and depth of your relationships. This sign challenges us to question, are we investing our time and energy in fertile soil capable of nurturing mutual growth? Or are we clinging to a shadow of connection that never materializes into something more substantial? The realization of a superficial bond serves as a guide to make informed decisions, allowing us to protect our peace of mind and seek relationships that offer true reciprocity and depth. The seventh signal, absence in crucial moments. In the journey of discerning human relationships, the seventh sign stands out with a somber clarity, absence in critical moments. The essence of a healthy relationship is often revealed not on sunny days, but in life storms. It is during periods of adversity, illness, personal loss, or phases of intense stress that the true character of a relationship is put to the test. Imagine facing one of these challenging moments, expecting to find support and understanding from someone you consider a friend or partner. However, instead of support, you are met with a void. The person is noticeably absent, perhaps offering superficial consolation or generic words that sound more like a formality than a genuine gesture of empathy. This pattern of behavior, where emotional and physical support is notably scarce or non-existent in times of need, is an alarming indicator. It reveals that the relationship may be heavily one-sided, with one person investing emotionally while the other evades during times of reciprocation. Absence in crucial moments is a mirror reflecting the true nature of the relationship. It's not just about not being physically present, it's the lack of empathy, emotional unavailability, and indifference that speaks volumes. This lack of support not only wears down the emotional fabric of the relationship, but also raises questions about its intrinsic value and the sincerity of the connection. Recognizing this reality can be painful, but it is essential for protecting one's dignity and emotional well-being. Confronting this truth propels us to reassess the relationship and to ponder the importance of establishing more equitable relationships, where support and presence are reciprocal. Realizing the presence of concerning signs in a relationship is a vital initial step, but what truly defines the nature and future of these interactions is how we act upon these findings in crucial moments, especially those that require support and solidarity. The absence of someone who should be by our side can reveal an uncomfortable truth about the relationship. In these difficult times, the true depth and sincerity of a bond are put to the test. The lack of emotional commitment and solidarity from someone who is using us is a clear indicator of these shortcomings. To cultivate healthier and more balanced relationships, it is essential to establish clear boundaries. Saying no is a fundamental aspect of any healthy relationship. When feeling uncomfortable or pressured, communicating your own boundaries clearly and directly is crucial. Defining and firmly maintaining what is acceptable to you is a practice of self-respect and preserving your emotional health. In situations where you feel used, open and honest communication is key. Addressing the matter calmly, clearly, and directly, expressing your feelings without accusations, can clarify misunderstandings and even give the other person a chance to review and change their behavior. Seeking support in dealing with the emotional complexity of being in an unbalanced relationship is another important step. Talking to trusted friends, family members, or a professional can provide a much-needed outside perspective, as well as support and guidance. Remember, every individual deserves respect and reciprocity in their relationships. Identifying and confronting situations where your interests are not considered is essential for strengthening your emotional well-being. Learning how to handle the challenges empowers us to build and maintain healthier, more rewarding relationships founded on mutual respect, empathy, and effective communication. By recognizing the signs of unbalanced relationships and taking proactive steps, you take a crucial step in protecting yourself and cultivating healthier and more fulfilling interactions. It's important to remember that your value is not defined by how others treat you. Rather, it is intrinsic and reaffirmed by how you stand in situations where there is a lack of respect or consideration. In our journey to discern true intentions and relationships, an essential understanding stands out. You deserve relationships that are reciprocal and respectful. If you identified with this content and found value in the information shared, I invite you to subscribe for more insights like this. Together, we will continue to navigate the complexities of human interactions, unraveling and better understanding the patterns of behavior and emotions that surround us. Your support is crucial in this journey of discovery and continuous learning. Remember, the key to healthier and more enriching relationships lies in recognizing, acting, and above all, respecting yourself and others. Have you ever sat in absolute silence? No phone, no distractions, no one to validate your existence, just you and your own thoughts. Does that idea unsettle you? We live in a world where silence is drowned out by notifications, where self-worth is measured by external approval. We chase recognition, bend under societal expectations, and fear the emptiness of solitude. But is a life dictated by others truly your own? The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from wealth, status, or relationships, but from within. To live without fear of being alone is to master the art of self-sufficiency. It means understanding that you are already whole, that your peace does not depend on anyone else. Paradoxically, those who learn to stand alone also form the deepest connections, not out of need, but out of choice. They walk their own path, unshaken by judgment, free from the chains of dependence. So ask yourself, do you live for yourself? Or are you just a reflection of others' expectations? In this video, we'll explore how embracing solitude can lead to true strength, independence, and fulfillment. Stay with me because this might just change the way you see your life. 1. Self-control, the key to freedom. Most of us will never find ourselves behind bars, yet many live as prisoners, trapped not by walls, but by their own lack of self-control. When you cannot govern yourself, you become a puppet of emotions, circumstances, and the expectations of others. True freedom is not about escaping responsibility or severing all ties. It is about mastering yourself so that nothing external can dictate your inner state. Self-control is not merely the ability to suppress anger or resist temptation. It is the art of ruling your own mind. It means choosing your response instead of reacting impulsively, standing firm in your values despite pressure, and refusing to let praise or criticism define you. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If your happiness rises and falls with others' opinions, if your identity shifts based on societal approval, then you are not living for yourself. You are living as a reflection of others. Living for yourself is not selfishness. It is clarity. It is knowing who you are, what you want, and walking that path with unwavering resolve. But when you rely too much on validation, you hand over control of your life. You become a prisoner to expectations, allowing fear of rejection to shape your decisions. A truly free person is one who knows when to say no, who protects their time, energy, and focus for what truly matters. Consider Vincent van Gogh, one of history's greatest painters. In his lifetime, he sold only a single painting. He was dismissed by society, rejected by family, and lived in near isolation. Yet he did not paint for approval. He painted because it was his truth. Despite suffering, poverty, and ridicule, he never abandoned his art. He did not conform to trends, but forged his own style, creating masterpieces like Starry Night and Sunflowers. Had he allowed the world's judgment to break him, we might never have known his genius. Van Gogh's life is proof that when you master yourself, you create without the need for permission. Self-control is not about rejecting others. It is about not needing them to define your worth. It is the foundation of inner peace, resilience, and true freedom. We cannot control the world, but we can always control our response. When someone criticizes you, you can react with anger or remain unfazed, knowing their words do not shape your reality. When faced with adversity, you can dwell in frustration or take action to change what you can. Every moment you have the power to choose. If you do not master yourself, others will. If you do not decide how to live, the world will decide for you. But remember, no one can truly control you unless you allow them to. And when you learn to govern yourself, you gain something no one can take away: absolute freedom. 2. Stop looking for external validation. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval. A simple drawing earns us a proud smile from our parents. A high test score brings praise from teachers. Accomplishments are met with applause, and that recognition fuels us to keep striving. This is natural. Humans thrive on connection. But what happens when we become dependent on it? If no one praises you, would you still feel worthy if there is no applause? Would you still believe in yourself? External validation is like fast food, quick, satisfying, but ultimately empty. It cannot sustain you. The moment the applause stops, you may feel lost, as if drifting without direction. A life dictated by the approval of others is not a life of freedom, but of servitude. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from within. Epictetus once said, "If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your own integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. Your worth is not something others grant you. It is something you realize within yourself." Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes in history, was once cut from his high school basketball team. He could have let that rejection define him, but he didn't. He kept training, kept pushing, proving that he didn't need validation to know his own worth. And neither do you. When you rely on others to feel good about yourself, you become vulnerable, lifted by praise, shattered by criticism. But when you can stand strong without anyone's approval, you become untouchable. This is not arrogance, it is self-mastery. The greatest recognition you will ever need is your own. Ask yourself, are you living in alignment with your values? Do you do what is right even when no one is watching? Do you respect yourself even in silence? When you stop seeking validation, a new kind of freedom emerges. You will no longer fear judgment. You will no longer feel empty in solitude because you will understand your worth has never been in the hands of others. It has always been yours. 3. Learn how to be alone. There is a truth few dare to accept. You do not need anyone else to feel complete. This is not a call to reject relationships, but a reminder that your worth is not defined by the presence or absence of others. Society often equates solitude with loneliness, making us believe that if we are not constantly surrounded by people, we are somehow lacking. But the truth is quite the opposite. Learning to be alone is one of the greatest strengths you can cultivate. To be alone is not to suffer isolation, but to embrace the rare opportunity to listen to yourself, to face your own thoughts without distraction, and to find contentment from within. Most people spend their lives running from silence, seeking external noise to drown out their own uncertainties. But those who master solitude master themselves. They no longer rely on validation, nor are they swayed by fleeting opinions. History's greatest minds understood this. Isaac Newton formulated the law of universal gravitation while in isolation during a plague. Albert Einstein spent hours lost in thought, contemplating the universe without interruption. Their brilliance was not shaped by the constant presence of others, but by the stillness that allowed them to think deeply without distraction. Imagine if Newton had spent his days chasing small talk instead of embracing solitude. Would he have ever noticed the falling apple? Now ask yourself, when you are alone, do you feel restless? Do you instinctively reach for your phone, searching for someone to talk to? Or can you sit in that space, unshaken, and look deeper within? When you stop fearing solitude, you begin to truly live. Loneliness is not a punishment. It is an invitation to grow, to learn, and to strengthen yourself in ways that constant company never allows. To be alone is also to be free. When you no longer depend on others for validation, you regain control over your own life. You stop chasing relationships just to fill an empty void. Ironically, the more self-sufficient you become, the more others are drawn to you. Confidence and independence are magnetic. But the greatest gift of solitude is this: even if no one stands beside you, you remain whole. So if you ever find yourself feeling lost because no one is around, remember, it is not emptiness, but an opportunity. Use that time to build a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Because when you can stand firm on your own, nothing can bring you down. What are your thoughts on solitude? Have you ever experienced a time when being alone helped you grow? Share your insights in the comments below. 4. Build your own values instead of following social standards. Success is not a universal formula. It is not something society can define for you. If you believe that success is measured by wealth, fame, or social approval, then you have unknowingly allowed the world to dictate your path. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, is success truly about achieving what others admire? Or is it about living a life that is meaningful to you? From a young age, we are taught to follow a predefined path, secure a stable job, earn a high salary, and gain the admiration of others. But have you ever stopped to question whether these things genuinely align with who you are? Or are they merely expectations imposed upon you? Take Vera Wang as an example. She started as a figure skater, dreaming of Olympic success. When that dream ended, she turned to journalism, becoming a fashion editor. But at 40, she discovered her true passion, designing wedding dresses. Society might have told her it was too late to start over, yet she ignored those limitations and built one of the most prestigious bridal fashion brands in the world. Her story proves one thing: success has no deadline, as long as you dare to live by your own values. If you spend your life chasing external expectations, you will become a version of yourself molded by society, not the person you were meant to be. But the real tragedy is not the judgment of others. It is reaching the end of your life and realizing you never truly lived. That is why you must build your own values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? What brings me fulfillment and freedom? These are not easy questions, but once you answer them, external standards will no longer have power over you. Here's a hard truth: when you start living according to your values, not everyone will support you. You will face criticism, misunderstandings, and even isolation. But remember, true strength comes from within, not from the approval of the crowd. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Building your own values means taking control of your thoughts, instead of letting the world dictate them. It does not mean resisting everything society offers, but rather learning to be selective, choosing what helps you grow and letting go of what holds you back. And that is exactly what we will explore next: how to eliminate the things that hinder your growth. If this message resonates with you, stay with me until the end, because the path to true freedom begins here. And if you found value in this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue this journey together. 5. Eliminate things that inhibit your own development. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is truly holding me back? Maybe it's a job you despise but feel trapped in, a relationship drained of trust, yet you still cling to it, or a silent fear that keeps you from stepping outside your comfort zone. We often believe that growth comes from adding more skills, opportunities, connections, but in reality, True growth often comes from elimination. Life is like a garden. It's not enough to water what thrives. We must also cut away what withers. Yet the hardest things to let go of are often the most familiar: stability, long-standing habits, even suffering we've learned to endure. We don't hold on because they serve us. We hold on because we fear the emptiness that may follow if we release them. But ask yourself, do you want comfort, or do you want growth? Henry Ford's story is a testament to this truth. His first 2 automobile companies failed, leaving him humiliated and broke. Many would have seen this as a sign to quit. But instead of clinging to outdated methods, Ford eliminated what wasn't working and embraced a new vision: affordable cars for the masses. That shift in mindset led to the creation of the Ford Model T, revolutionizing the automobile industry. His success didn't come from what he added, it came from what he let go of. So how do you know what to eliminate? Ask yourself one simple question. Is this still helping me grow? If a relationship drains you more than it nurtures you, is it worth keeping? If a job crushes your spirit rather than inspiring you, is it worth dedicating your life to? If fear is keeping you paralyzed, is it worth carrying with you forever? The greatest tragedy is not losing what we have. It's looking back years from now and realizing we never truly lived because we were too afraid to change. Growth never comes from absolute safety. It comes from those moments when we dare to let go, to move forward even when we cannot see the road ahead. So take a moment and reflect. Is there something in your life holding you back? If so, have the courage to release it, because only when you remove what no longer serves you can you create space for something greater. 6. Overcome the fear of being judged. Most people live in quiet captivity, haunted by a single question: what do others think of me? But here is a truth you must embrace, no matter what you do. People will always have opinions. Dress differently, you're eccentric. Follow your passion, you're unrealistic. Conform to expectations, you're just ordinary. The truth is, you can never please everyone, and the more you try, the further you stray from yourself. The fear of judgment is not just a fleeting emotion. It is a chain that binds you. It makes you hesitate, forces you into compromises, and worst of all, prevents you from being who you truly are. Imagine having a dream that sets your soul on fire, but instead of pursuing it, you let the fear of ridicule hold you back. You want to change your path but hesitate, worrying about whispers behind your back. If you let this fear dictate your life, you will wake up one day drowning in regret. But when you dare to step beyond this fear, you unlock something extraordinary: freedom. You will no longer be shackled by others' opinions because you will understand a profound truth. Their judgments do not define your worth. You will live as you choose, pursue what you love, and walk your own path without looking over your shoulder. History does not remember those who stayed silent out of fear. It remembers those who had the courage to stand apart. Vincent van Gogh was mocked, dismissed, and died in poverty, unrecognized for his genius. Had he painted for approval, he might have abandoned his art, but he didn't. He painted because it was his truth today. His works are priceless. While those who ridiculed him are long forgotten, his story is proof that opinions are temporary, but what you create, what you believe in, can last forever. If you let the fear of judgment control you, you will always live within the boundaries others set. But if you dare to break free, you will finally experience what it means to truly live. So ask yourself, will you spend your life conforming, or will you have the courage to be yourself? That is the real question. And in the next part, well, take it even further. 7th, dare to truly live and choose according to your heart. Life moves forward relentlessly. Seconds turn into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days. Time does not wait, no matter how much we wish it would. The real question is, am I truly living, or is life simply passing me by? Look at today. What have you done differently from yesterday? We wake up, go to work, come home, sleep and repeat. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months. Will tomorrow be any different? Or will it be another day lived on autopilot? If you do not take control of your life, society will dictate it for you. Now is the time to choose how you truly want to live. But being true to yourself is not easy. From childhood, we are taught to fit in, to behave in ways that gain approval, to follow paths chosen for us. Study this subject, get that job, live as expected, but at some point, we must stop and ask, is this my life, or am I simply fulfilling the expectations of others? To be true to yourself does not mean rebellion. It means listening to your own voice, understanding your values, and having the courage to follow them. When you dare to walk your own path, you do not just free yourself from invisible chains. You open the door to the right people and opportunities. Take Lady Gaga, for example. She was not an overnight success. When she first entered the music industry, she was rejected, ridiculed, and told she was too different to make it. Record labels claimed she did not fit the mold of a pop star. But instead of conforming, she doubled down on who she was. She wore bold outfits, experimented with music, and performed with fearless passion. She was not afraid of being misunderstood because she knew only authenticity could make her truly shine. And she was right. Not only did she achieve global success, but she built a devoted community, not because she tried to please everyone, but because she had the courage to be herself. One of the biggest mistakes we make is trying to be liked by everyone. But here is the truth. No matter how hard you try, there will always be people who misunderstand, criticize, or dislike you. And that is not your burden to carry. The right people will stay, the wrong ones will leave. And that is perfectly okay. You were not born to be a copy of someone else. You were not meant to live by the standards of others. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control people's opinions, we can control how we live. So ask yourself, if you weren't afraid of being judged, what would you do if you weren't afraid of failure? What path would you take? That is your answer. That is the life you are meant to live. You have only one life. Will you let it pass by without truly living, or will you dare to be yourself? The choice is yours. 8. Learn how to forgive and move forward. Some wounds are invisible to the eye, yet they linger deep within us. Anger, resentment, and past hurts weigh us down, chaining us to moments that can never be changed. But is it worth it? Is it worth carrying this burden into the future, allowing it to darken new opportunities? Forgiveness is not a gift we give to others. It is a liberation we grant ourselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This is not just ethical wisdom, but a profound truth about inner freedom. When we allow hatred to consume us, we are unknowingly handing power over our emotions and actions to those who hurt us. But when we let go, we claim our control. Imagine holding a burning coal, intending to throw it at your enemy. Who gets burned first? You do. Hatred works the same way. It consumes our peace, clarity, and even the simple joys of life. Just a single bitter thought can imprison us in suffering. But forgiveness is the key that unlocks that prison. To forgive does not mean to forget, nor does it mean allowing others to continue harming us. It is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength. It is the conscious choice to let go of resentment so that we can move forward, rather than letting the past dictate our future. History is filled with those who chose forgiveness over vengeance, and in doing so, transformed the world. Mahatma Gandhi was imprisoned, beaten, and watched his people suffer under oppression. Yet he did not choose violence or revenge. He led a movement of non-violent resistance, enduring years of struggle until India gained independence. Had he let hatred cloud his judgment, history may have unfolded very differently. His story is proof that forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is about choosing a wiser response. There will always be people who hurt us. That is beyond our control. But what is within our control is how we respond. Stoic philosophy teaches us that peace is found within, not through seeking revenge or external justice. Forgiveness is not about excusing others. It is about freeing ourselves. When we let go of hatred, we lose nothing. In fact, we gain everything: our peace, our clarity, and our freedom. If you are still holding on to resentment today, ask yourself, is this worth sacrificing my peace? Could this energy be used to build a better life? Instead of drowning in old emotions, forgiveness is not easy. But once you embrace it, you will realize that it is not just an act of kindness. It is a priceless gift you give to yourself. So, after everything we've explored, what do you think is true freedom found in living for yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments with I Choose Me. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future insights that challenge the way you see life. And if someone you know needs to hear this, share it with them. Your journey to self-mastery has only just begun. In the next video, we'll uncover even deeper truths about living with strength, purpose, and independence. See you there. Beginning a journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation is a challenge we all face at some point in our lives. In this context, a crucial aspect is learning to establish personal boundaries and understand the power of saying no. Often we find ourselves trapped in the habit of prioritizing the needs and desires of others, often at the expense of our own interests and well-being. This reflection aims to explore the dynamics underlying this behavior, highlighting the importance of recognizing and respecting our own limits. We will discuss how the act of stepping away from toxic situations or relationships is not just a gesture of self-preservation, but also a powerful expression of self-respect and autonomy. Throughout this text, we will explore the various facets of this process, considering how the ability to say no and maintain a clear direction in life can transform our relationship with ourselves and others, leading to a more authentic and fulfilling existence. Before we begin, check your subscription and feel free to leave a comment about your perspectives during the video. Let's start. It's an intriguing and quite common phenomenon. The tendency of many individuals to dedicate their time and effort to others, often even beyond their own limits and needs. But what is the root of this behavior? It could be an internal search for personal validation, a deep longing to be valued and accepted, Or perhaps these people believe that their self-esteem is intrinsically linked to how they are perceived by others. This excessive concern with others' perceptions can turn into a trap. When you care too much about what others think, you run the risk of losing your own identity. You become a reflection of others' expectations and opinions, as if your existence depended on the approval of others. This can be exhausting and, in many cases, lead to a vicious cycle of relentless pursuit of recognition and approval. This journey in search of acceptance can be motivated by various reasons. Some may feel insecure about their own worth, depending on external validation to feel worthy. Others may have grown up in environments where love and attention were conditioned on meeting others' expectations, leading them to believe that this is the only way to be loved or respected. However, it's crucial to recognize that this constant pursuit of others' approval can be a lonely and unsatisfying path. It's like trying to fill an inner void with something that's always out of reach. Each key to breaking this cycle may lie in developing a healthier relationship with oneself, learning to value your own opinions and needs. By doing so, one can begin to embark on a path of greater authenticity and personal satisfaction, where the opinions of others are just one part of the whole and not the defining factor of one's happiness and self-esteem. Many of us, at some point, find ourselves giving out time and energy to others. But why does this happen? Is it a search for self-affirmation or a deep desire to be appreciated? Excessive concern with others' opinions can turn us into true hostages of these judgments. If you often find yourself in this situation, I want to share with you a valuable strategy to reclaim your sovereignty and self-esteem. This strategy is simply known as walking away. It may seem somewhat abrupt, but in some circumstances, it's a necessary step to reaffirm your personal power. Throughout life, we encounter various people. Some do not respect boundaries. Others are overly dependent, or even cruel and selfish. Showing these people that you are willing to walk away not only reinforces your independence, but also regains control over your own life. The power of walking away is strengthened by two fundamental pillars: the ability to say no and the presence of a clear direction in your life. If you tend to get lost in the desires of others, or, worse, feel used or abused, you likely struggle with refusing requests and lack a defined purpose. Having a clear goal shows the world that you value your time and, by extension, your life. This naturally distances you from situations where your boundaries are disrespected. Keeping focused on your path reduces the need to seek external approval. Remember, walking away is not just a physical action, but a mindset of self-worth and respect. Adopting this stance sends a powerful message: you are in charge of your life. Thank you for dedicating your time to this reflection. Walking away might sound like a harsh move, but at certain times, it becomes an essential action to assert one's autonomy in a given scenario. Throughout life's journey, we cross paths with countless people. Some of these interactions are fleeting, like leaves in the wind, while others deeply root themselves in our hearts. Each encounter, whether brief or lasting, leaves its unique imprint on our personal story. Deciding to step back is not always easy. Often, it comes with a mix of emotions, a blend of relief with a tinge of melancholy. But it's important to remember that taking control of our own narrative is a sign of maturity and self-awareness. Knowing when to say goodbye, when to close a chapter, is a vital skill in building a fulfilling and authentic life. In some cases, This choice might seem selfish to others. However, it's an act of self-preservation. By moving away from situations or people that no longer resonate with our values or aspirations, we make room for new opportunities and enriching experiences. This journey of personal discovery is a mosaic of meetings and farewells, each contributing a unique color to the larger picture of our existence. These moments of departure, though sometimes painful, are crucial for our growth. They teach us about our limits, desires, and, most importantly, about who we truly are. By sharing these reflections, I hope to spark curiosity and interest in my audience, encouraging them to look at their own stories with a new perspective, full of possibilities and learning. Among the various people who cross our paths, some present particular challenges in understanding and respecting personal boundaries. Some can be overly dependent, clinging to us and demanding a disproportionate amount of our time and energy. These interactions, although often well-intentioned, can become exhausting, creating an imbalance in the relationship. On the other hand, there are those individuals we might classify as unpleasant and ill-intentioned. These are people who, unfortunately, see social interactions as an opportunity for manipulation and exploitation. They can act cruelly using sarcasm, criticism, or abusive behaviors to belittle others, aiming for their own benefit without any consideration for the well-being of others. These negative interactions, though challenging, offer valuable learning opportunities. They teach us the importance of establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries. Learning to identify and deal with such personalities is crucial for our emotional health and personal development. It teaches us to be assertive, to stand up for our values, and to not allow others to treat us disrespectfully or harmfully. By making the conscious decision to distance ourselves from those who do not respect our boundaries, we are sending a powerful message both to ourselves and to them. This attitude clearly demonstrates that we are not owned by anyone and that we have the power and autonomy to choose who is part of our lives. This gesture of withdrawal is not just an act of self-affirmation, but also an important step in regaining control over our own well-being and capabilities. This choice to distance ourselves can be seen as an act of self-defense and preservation. By distancing ourselves from toxic people or draining relationships, we are taking care of our mental and emotional health. We are prioritizing our personal space and investing in our own growth. It's a reminder that we are the primary agents of our happiness and inner peace. Moreover, this action can have a significant impact on those who are prone to overstepping boundaries. It can serve as a call for reflection, an opportunity for them to recognize the impact of their actions and perhaps initiate changes in their behavior. The power of walking away is indeed reinforced by two fundamental pillars: the assertiveness of no and the clarity of direction. Firstly, the word no is a powerful tool in the art of setting boundaries. It's simple, direct, and effective. By saying no, you communicate your needs, preferences, and limits clearly. This act of self-affirmation is essential for maintaining healthy and respectful relationships. It's a declaration of independence, showing that you are in control of your choices and actions. No is more than just a refusal. It's an act of self-respect and self-awareness. It allows us to reject situations that displease us, commitments that overburden us, and behaviors that disrespect us. This word, when used assertively and respectfully, is a sign of inner strength and confidence. Secondly, Direction is the element that guides us to where we want to go, both literally and metaphorically. Having a direction means having goals, aspirations, and a sense of purpose in life. Knowing where you are headed makes it easier to make decisions and choose paths that align with your values and objectives. Direction gives us focus, helping us avoid distractions and negative influences. Together, know and direction form a powerful combination. While know protects us from unwanted external influences, direction keeps us on the path to achieving our goals and dreams. These two concepts are crucial for maintaining personal integrity and following a path that is truly our own. If you find yourself frequently yielding to the whims of others, or, in more severe cases, being exploited, manipulated, or abused by others, this might indicate a difficulty in asserting no and a lack of clear direction in life. These are warning signs that deserve attention and reflection. The inability to say no often stems from a desire to please, to avoid conflict, or from the belief that our needs and desires are less important than those of others. This behavior, though it may seem harmless at first, can lead to a cycle of self-denial and resentment, and create an environment conducive to being used or abused. On the other hand, a lack of direction can be the result of uncertainties, a lack of self-awareness, or fear of pursuing our true interests. Without clear direction, it's easy to be swayed by the will and objectives of others, thus missing the opportunity to live a life that is truly our own. Recognizing these patterns in oneself is the first step towards change. It begins with strengthening self-esteem and self-awareness, understanding what we truly value and desire for our lives. From there, we can start practicing assertiveness, learning to say no when necessary, and to set and pursue our own goals and aspirations. Indeed, the inability to say no and a lack of clear direction in life can lead to a less firm and assertive stance. When we are not anchored in our own values and objectives, we become more susceptible to the influence and interests of others. This lack of firmness can be perceived by others and, in some cases, unfortunately exploited. When people notice this absence of direction in someone, they may feel encouraged to impose their own wills and objectives onto that person. This can occur subtly or more directly, but the result is the same. You might end up living a life that is more a reflection of others' expectations and desires than of your own aspirations. It's important to emphasize that having a direction in life doesn't mean having an inflexible plan or an unchangeable vision of the future. It means having a sense of purpose, knowing what is important to you, and making decisions that align with those values and objectives. Direction provides a guide, an internal compass that helps navigate the complexities and challenges of life. The ability to say no, on the other hand, is an act of self-affirmation. It's recognizing and honoring your own limits, needs and desires. Saying no is not just a rejection of something unwanted, it's also an affirmation of oneself and what you value. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now. Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. When people notice someone's lack of commitment to personal goals, they may indeed start to view that person's time as less valuable than their own. This perception can lead to a harmful dynamic where it's expected that you prioritize the needs and desires of others above your own. Such a situation not only diminishes the importance of your time and efforts, but can also establish a pattern where your own goals and aspirations are consistently put on the back burner. This dynamic can be subtle and is often not done with malicious intent. However, it reinforces the idea that the needs of others are more important, which can lead to a cycle of self-neglect. When you spend most of your time meeting the expectations of others, you might end up missing the opportunity to invest in yourself and your own goals. This situation highlights the importance of developing a sense of direction and purpose. Having clear and personal goals helps to establish healthy boundaries and make decisions that reflect your own priorities. This doesn't mean ignoring the needs of others, but rather finding a balance between helping others and taking care of yourself. Moreover, learning to value your own time and efforts is crucial. This involves recognizing your worth and the importance of your own goals and aspirations. By valuing yourself, you teach others to do the same. From the perspective of those who see others as less committed to their own goals, there may arise the notion that by dedicating time to meet their demands, you are, in a way, using your time usefully, serving their interests. This view is problematic because it places the value of your time and effort solely in the context of its usefulness to others and not in relation to your own satisfaction and personal growth. This mindset can lead to the belief that your worth is intrinsically tied to your ability to be useful to others, rather than recognizing your inherent value as an individual. Such an approach not only minimizes the importance of your own aspirations and needs, but can also lead to a loss of self-esteem and a feeling of dissatisfaction with life. It's essential to recognize that being useful to others is just one of the many ways to spend your time valuably. The true value of your time also manifests when you are working toward your own goals, taking care of yourself, or simply doing things that bring you joy and satisfaction. By dedicating yourself intensely and intentionally to a personal goal, you are engaging in a journey of significant self-appreciation. This dedication not only reflects a clear definition of priorities, but also resonates as an affirmation of the value of your time and life. This stance sends a strong signal both to yourself and to those around you, indicating that each minute is precious and should be used in a thoughtful and meaningful way. This choice to live with a clear purpose fundamentally changes how others perceive you. People start to see someone who makes conscious choices about how to invest their time, someone who is not available to be indiscriminately consumed by the whims of others. Instead of being perceived as a resource available to others, you are seen as an individual with your own desires, ambitions, and passions. Committing to your goals has several marked advantages. First, there's a sense of authenticity and integrity. Your actions and choices begin to reflect your internal values and beliefs, providing a sense of genuine and true life. Second, this dedication fosters an increase in self-respect and, consequently, the respect others have for you. When you demonstrate that you value your own time, you naturally teach others to do the same. Furthermore, this attitude of commitment can serve as a source of inspiration for those around you, observing your effort and the achievements that come from it. You become a positive example, encouraging others to pursue their own dreams and passions. There's also the crucial aspect of establishing healthy boundaries. By dedicating yourself to your goals, you learn to say no to demands that don't align with your priorities, maintaining a healthy balance between meeting the needs of others and your own. Furthermore, maintaining a focus on your personal goals and aspirations is an effective strategy for walking away from situations where your boundaries are violated or where you are subjected to abuse. This ability to steer away from harmful environments is crucial in various aspects of life, whether in the workplace, marital relationships, or even friendships in a professional context. For instance, having a clear sense of direction can help you identify when a work situation is becoming toxic or detrimental, whether it's due to colleagues who don't respect your boundaries or an excessive and unbalanced workload. Knowing when and how to step back can be vital for your mental health and career progression. Similarly, in personal relationships such as marriages or friendships, the ability to stay true to your own goals and values helps to identify when these relationships are becoming one-sided or harmful. It can often be difficult to recognize and admit that a close relationship is doing more harm than good. However, by focusing on your own needs and goals, you become more adept at recognizing when it's time to withdraw and seek healthier and more balanced environments and relationships. This ability to step away is not just a form of self-preservation, it's also an act of self-respect. It involves recognizing your own worth and understanding that you deserve to be in situations and relationships that are respectful and reciprocal. By incorporating these concepts into a narrative, the message can be one of empowerment and self-defense. It encourages listeners to consider the importance of protecting themselves from harmful situations and to recognize the value of seeking environments that promote their well-being and personal growth. Being focused on your own path has the effect of reducing excessive concern with the affairs and opinions of others. When you concentrate on yourself, the need to seek external approval diminishes significantly. You begin to understand that the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. This kind of self-knowledge and self-confidence is liberating and fundamental to building an authentic and fulfilled life. Walking away from abusive people and destructive environments is a powerful way to protect your self-respect and integrity. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather of strength and self-awareness. By making this decision, you are choosing not to allow your mental health and well-being to be compromised by toxic situations or relationships. This attitude also sends a clear message to the world around you. You are in control of your life. You decide who and what deserves your time and energy. This doesn't mean you don't care about friends, family, or partners. On the contrary, it shows that while you love and value your relationships, you are not dependent on them for your happiness or sense of self-worth. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is a way of demonstrating that you respect yourself and expect the same respect from others. Adopting the stance of walking away in negotiation situations sends a powerful message, especially in a business context. This attitude signals to others involved that you have other options and that, while interested, you are not wholly dependent on that specific deal for progress. This is a demonstration of confidence and an abundance mindset, which can be incredibly influential in negotiations. The abundance mindset is not necessarily based on having a lot of money, possessions, or a vast social circle. Instead, it's about an internal perspective, a state of contentment and confidence in one's ability to achieve and create opportunities. When you operate from this viewpoint, you radiate a sense of self-assurance and self-sufficiency that can be very attractive and persuasive to others. This concept also applies in personal relationships. Loving and valuing the people in your life is natural and important, but it's crucial to understand that you don't need them for your own happiness or sense of worth. This understanding allows you to establish healthier and more balanced relationships, where there is no excessive dependency. In negotiation, the willingness to walk away and take it seriously is often the strongest position. This is because it demonstrates that you are making a conscious choice, not acting out of desperation or necessity. By being prepared to leave the negotiation table if the conditions are not favorable, you maintain control and integrity of the situation. This stance not only increases your chances of achieving a favorable outcome, but also ensures that, regardless of the outcome, you remain in a position of power. You win by maintaining your standards and respecting your own boundaries. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay serene and see you next time.